it's Lynette with Charm Grammy Crochet. How you doing today? Welcome to my little corner of the universe. Yeah, this is just a little corner I've been using to film lately. And welcome to all of my new subscribers. Glad to have you here. Anybody that's been around a while, thanks for coming back again and again. I really appreciate it. Today is Monday the 10th, but I am doing Ola Joe's National Crochet Month Challenge. There's a hashtag, and I keep forgetting to write it on my paper, and it's not on the paper, but I will put it in the description box. And it's March is National Crochet Month, and Ola Joe has made a calendar of activities every day crochet related. I completed up through the 8th challenge. I'm kind of grouping mine together. Tomorrow is going to be a real busy day. If you've been around, you know that my husband is having knee replacement on Tuesday, this coming up Tuesday. And I need to change the sheets on the bed, sterilize the bathroom, and make sure everything is pristine in the rooms that he's going to be using for the most part the first few days after surgery. So I work and then I have to go do all that. So there will be no filming tomorrow. Surgery day, there might not be filming for a few days, to be quite honest with you. So I'm going to kind of include tomorrow's in with today's as far as that calendar goes. So first off, is for the 9th day is how I learned to crochet, or my crochet story. And you've probably heard some or all of this from me. Oh, I think I might be getting a Prime delivery, or the people across the street are. I didn't order anything. Nope, they're coming here. Oh, that's cool. Yay, I got something. Don't know what. Sure don't recall ordering anything. Anyway, we'll check that out in a minute. So anyway, my mom taught me to crochet. I remember chaining long chains, and nothing else when I was very young. And then as a young adult, we were going to make a project together, a blanket or something she was going to help me with. I had 3 kids and a husband that worked 2 jobs and a full-time job myself. To say the least, that project never was finished, and I didn't touch anything crochet really again until after she passed away. She was not a huge crocheter. She would crochet once in a while. She made a couple of blankets, craft projects with her when she retired and they settled in Florida. Sometimes they would do a crochet craft project, or she would learn or see a stitch that she liked and she would crochet a blanket. But mostly she liked to Swedish weave. And that was her craft of choice at the time that she retired. And she loved to sew. So she was quilting blanket tops quite frequently, and she was mostly Swedish weaving. Well, when she passed away and we started going through her stuff, she had a small yarn stash. It was mostly leftover yarns from projects. She was the type that would buy the yarn for the project and then quite frequently give the rest of it away or throw it away, or I don't know what she did with it, but she didn't keep yarn in the house. It wasn't her craft of choice, as I said. So she did Swedish weave, and she had that cloth that they use. I can't think of what it's called. Monk cloth, maybe. She had some of that, and she had a few variegated yarns because she used variegateds to do with the Swedish weaving. And I have several of her blankets, and they're stored away up in the attic right now, so I'm not going up to get them. They were beautiful. She made one for all the grandkids, or at least the granddaughters. The boys might have got quilt tops. I think she made jean quilt tops for the boys. She cut out, anytime we had old jeans, we had to give them to her. And she would cut them up into squares, and then sew the squares together, and she made quilts for the boys, and she made Swedish weaving blankets for the girls. That's what she did. So she had, anyway, a few 3 or 4 skeins of yarn. And I thought, maybe I'll try something with that. Then I learned YouTube. And between Bag O' Day, of course, and Creative Grandma, and my, no, oh goodness. Uh, um, oh, the lady in Africa. I can't think of her name right now. I'll link her channel, My Secret Yarnery. That's it, My Secret Yarnery. Um, Between them, they taught me to crochet pretty much. And Mikey from Crochet Crowd. I learned to do more than like I learned to make things and enjoy it from them. Um, and my mom would be so proud. uh, she would be a little bit overwhelmed at my yarn stash because she would think I'm hoarding. And we all know that word as yarn collectors. My mom was not one. She didn't like to throw things away if they could be reused, but she was not one that would stock up on stuff that you don't need. Um, Stock up on food when it's on sale. You don't stock up on yarn because it's on sale. It'll be on sale again, and buy it then when you have a project to buy it for. But like I said, crochet was not her forte. But she didn't buy fabric because it was on sale either, and she did sew. And her mom was a sewer. My mom's mother was a fabulous seamstress. She had an old Singer sewing machine, like built in the probably 800s. I mean, it was old. I'm sure it was old when she got it. Or maybe, probably. It did not sew in reverse. It was a foot pedal. You had to do the pumping thing. Um, and it was immaculate. It was a Singer. And she kept it, it was in a wooden cabinet with the drawers on the sides. Um, and it was immaculate. And she sewed all of her own clothes. She sewed my mother's clothes up until my mom didn't want homemade clothes anymore. But she did make like her dresses for dances. My grandmother made those. Um, she made coats. And she did it all in this machine that didn't even sew in reverse. Had no, just sew a straight line. But she would do intricate detail work on her. Um, she would turn her fabric and like to sew backwards, and she would sew scallopy lines and swirls, and you would never know that anything she made wasn't off the rack. As they say, it was beautiful. Um, she made when she was in her 50s. She made the garment that she wanted to be laid out in when she passed away, and it had to make sure that it fit her right. She made all of her own patterns to fit herself. And my mom, when she sewed for anybody, she made clothes from my mom's dolls to match my mom's clothes when she was little, um, which totally is not crochet related. So sorry about the rambling, but she was really cool. Anyway, she made her own funeral dress, and then when she got sick and she couldn't get around so well anymore and stuff, it didn't fit her by the time she died in her 80s. So she sadly wasn't able to wear that dress after all. And we were all like, Grandma, why are you making this? You're so young still. No, I'm gonna look good when I die. Okay. I don't know whatever became of that dress, but my grandmother's sewing machine is at my brother's house, and probably covered in dust because nobody has taken care of it. But it's there, and the sewing comes naturally to them. Not so good to me. I'm not that good at sewing. But crochet is my passion, not sewing, even though I do like to dabble once in a while. So between my mom's leftover yarn stash, which I said was just a few pieces, and some YouTube tutorials, I got into crocheting, and then I met wonderful, wonderful people. Mama Swift, Trisha, and Madonna, our queen, Madonna Ballard. They taught me how to read patterns live on Zoom. I mean, live on YouTube. Oh God, that's probably, oh Lord. I went on YouTube. I started going on YouTube, doing my own channel because I was enjoying the crochet so much, and nobody else cared. I didn't know anybody that cared about crochet. They're like, yeah, 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 yeah. And then I'm buying yarn, and I have 9 balls of yarn, and my daughter's like, "What are you doing?" You guys have seen. If you haven't seen that video of my daughter trying to talk YouTube people, all of you, into I have too much yarn when I had like really and truly 9 cubicles, 9 little cubbies full of yarn, and she thought it was taking over the house. Little did she know. But that's really a hysterical video. If you are one that partakes in having a yarn stash, my daughter trying to convince everyone to tell me I should stop buying yarn, um, is very funny. And if I can find it, I will link it up here or in the description box below as a video that you should maybe try to check out because it's kind of funny. From the viewer standpoint, I think it's probably funny. From my stand, I just laughed at her. I'm like, do you realize you're talking to a bunch of people that hoard yarn? Or landscape with it, decorate with it, love it, want to buy it all the time. She did not realize her audience would not be receptive to what she was saying, so it was kind of funny. And now here we are today with a YouTube to share my yarny journey with like-minded people that like to know about yarn and yarn-related stuff, and see what everybody else is making, see what I'm making, see where I'm getting the ideas from, follow the crochet alongs, all that kind of stuff. So that's my yarny journey. Now I want to get for today's video, it is Throwback Thursday. Throwback Thursday, I'm going to combine with day 11 of texture, because if I'm looking back on things that have a lot of texture and that I did a long time ago, because I'm assuming Throwback Thursday is things that you did a while ago, Mikey from the Crochet Crowd came up with some really awesome. Oh, I don't have the other. I should get my sweater. I will. He did some texture crochet alongs several years ago. One of these blankets you may not have ever seen from me. Textures of the Universe or something like that they were called. I'm going to turn you around, and I hope the window light isn't going to be disturbing. But I'm going to turn you around and show you the things that I made from Mikey's. I did 3. The one blanket I turned into a duster cardigan instead of a blanket. And as soon as I find that, I'll get that out and show that to you as well, because he did so much work with texture, which was a real introduction into a lot of new stitches and ways of putting stitches together, and just textures that I was never exposed to, because my mom did like granny squares. She made granny square blankets. So double crochet, that's what I knew, but all these other textures, and well, you'll see. So hold on just a second. Okay, so this was the first one, I think, and I don't remember the names of them, but if you go through Mikey's stuff, it's textures of the universe or the planets or the world or something. This was the first one that I made, and this was all different loops and threads. No, I'm sorry, these are, I think, all impeccable. But if you have been around for like the last few months, you saw that I made those Boggy Creek blankets, luck of the draw, in the purples and greens. It was left over from these yarns, from this blanket. I love this blanket. It sits on a chair in my living room. But all my recent luck of the draw blankets, that were in the purples and greens were leftovers of this really cool blanket with all of its textures and colors. And when when I bought the yarn, I had no idea how much I would need. I think I bought like 7 skeins of every color and probably used 2. But Chloe and I went shopping. I knew I needed like 7 colors of yarn, and we bought all these colors because they went together. And it all started with the variegated. That's where I learned to pick color combinations based on a variegated yarn, and that's what we came up with. So that was the first one that Mikey introduced me to, and I love the blanket. Then I think we did this one, and this one was using Caron cakes, and you just kind of let them flow, as I recall. And am I showing you the front? Yeah, I think I'm showing you the front. Yeah. So lots of different textures in this blanket. And, you know, again, don't ask me the specific name, but Mikey has all kinds of cool studies of this and studies of that blankets, and he does very cool, interesting things. Then the next one, I think, had something to do with a clock, but I don't remember. And I didn't want another blanket. And this was, you made squares, and then you were supposed to sew them together into a blanket. I didn't like all the squares. I needed more squares. So some of them I made more than once. And some of them I only made the one time. And I used, these were a cake yarn. All the orange colors were in the cake. Oh wait, that's the inside of the, oh, no. So all the orange colors were in the inside of the cake. And then I used Caron 1-pounders was the join yarn. And I single crochet joined them. And then I did, I think this is the farmhouse granny that I used to make, and I just made them big enough. I just did the grannies big enough to make it so they would fit, to make everything fit together. So this is kind of, I have put off to the side my rectangle cardigan that I want to make, or duster, and I'm going to make it in the same fashion that I did this. So this I just put, and you can't see them all, but I put like 3 panels down the front and down the backs, and I didn't put them together here for the arm, but I put them together, you know, put them together at the top, and then you crochet around everything to make your lapel. And then I did the ripple, what do you call that? You know, the stretchy thing for the sleeves. I know, you all put in the comments what the name of that is. Ribbing, that's it. I did ribbing, and I made the, you know, long enough that I can hit, if it's down, it covers my whole hand, which I like in case it's cold, and I don't tend to like to wear gloves too often. And then I put pockets. These do have pockets. So to make the pocket, I stopped stitching, left a space, and then continued on my stitching when I was stitching the squares together. Then I just did double crochets in the round till it was big enough to hold my phone in my hand. Sewed it up at the bottom. So that was kind of a no-sew pocket, just attach as you go. I attached here with double crochets, and then I just added this row of color to like blend it all in together. And that is my cardigan, and it was made out of Mikey's granny squares, because I just didn't want another blanket. But I love this sweater. I wear it in the fall all the time. and I get a great deal of compliments on it. So I need to get back to work on my 2 purple sweaters, but I had to take a break and do other test patterns that I was asked to do. So hold on, I'm going to sit back down now. Okay, so that is, oh, but you don't have to do, I forgot I was going to add this in. You don't have to do like all of that change of stitches and blah, blah, blah to get texture. I just love this. This is, you just saw this recently. I just finished this. This was a test I did for Pamela's Adoring Crochet. And look at that stitch, all the texture in there. I love it. And it's just a simple, simple stitch. Someone in the Florentine stitch or something, someone recently told me what it was. I didn't even realize it was an actual stitch pattern, not just something that Pamela came up with herself. But look at all the texture in that. And it's just 2 stitches together. This is a slip stitch and a double, a slip stitch and a half double. Slip stitch and a half double, I think. I took this right off my kitchen counter. I had it, I use it in my kitchen. And my daughter is making a blanket, a baby blanket, and she's doing single crochet, double crochet in the same stitch, skip 1 single crochet, and I think that's the moss stitch, and it's very textured like this, and it's just wonderful. So you can add texture with just simple stitching, and I find that to be so awesome. But some projects you don't want any texture in, you know. But as far as texture goes, that's that. As far as Throwback Thursday goes, all of these projects, well, this one's recent, but the others are a couple of years old, and I do love them still. And as far as what else is going on in my crochet life, I did put away, and they're not forgotten whips, they're sitting right over here. The 2 cardigans that I started when I was on vacation, they're right there. But I did have to stop because I had to make this, because I told Pamela I would. She also asked me to do another test pattern, which she has released now, also, which is this top, her summer top, and I was going to make one for Chloe and one, but they wanted them cropped. Chloe and Ariana, 2 of my granddaughters, they wanted them cropped, but they weren't real excited about it, and they weren't picking out colors or helping me to decide on colors for them. And Amanda came over and said, I would love that as a cover-up for a bathing suit, so you'd have to make it longer. And I said, okay. So I started that, and I'm going to show it to you. It's living in this because I am making it using Cotton Fair and Amanda's favorite summer colors are red, white, and blue. She loves to be patriotic in the summertime when we have all of our summer activities, you know, and all the summer holidays. So I started. Now, there's not a specific sizing. You measure this to yourself. So we measured. Now, in Pamela's pattern, there it is. Her top has 3 colors at the bottom here. And it's 6 rows. And I measured, Amanda just wanted red, white, and blue, but I wanted to use a thin cotton, and I had this in Americana, so I'm using this to do the bottom. And so I did 6 rows. I had measured her, and I laid them out, and I did, my stuff always shrinks, which is why they, Dina from Dina's Homespun Fun gave me the tip of, if you're making garments, wearables, you're making panels, do all of them at the same time. So I was going to do the 6 rows. Well, I started with 2 rows, and then I thought, well, I'll add a couple more and see. And I hadn't seen Amanda still, so I thought, well, I'll just do the 6 bottom rows, and then we'll see if it fits, because it measured perfect to start with, and then it started shrinking. So I stopped, and I thought, I'm not even going to the second part of this. I'm not going to even start the second panel until I know that this fits. And it does not. So sadly, I have to frog. All 6 rows are going bye-bye. Well, not the first row. I'm going to stop at the first row, and I'm going to add at least 3 more inches. I would rather it be saggy and baggy than too small. If it's too big, that's okay, because it's going to be a beach cover-up, and we're even talking like wearing it off the shoulder. It's cotton. I know my daughter, she's not going to hang it to dry. It's going to go in the washer. It's going to shrink. So a little big is probably better. So I'm going to add 3 more inches to what I started with. I think that would give, I'm hoping that that'll give her a couple inches of ease by the time I shrink it up as I crochet. So, I'm sorry, Pamela, that is not done, but it's got to be a redo. And, you know, redos happen, so that's life. Then thirdly, I just finished, and I want to get this, I messed up, and I don't have the front page on the front. Oh, come on. Where is the front page? Oh, it's on the front. I just didn't pick it up from the top. Okay, here we go. So if you don't know Nova Gnome, Nova Gnome's Creations. She is so wonderful. She is so much fun. And I just adore her. Well, she was double dog dared by someone who does the double dog daring in this community. So if you don't know who that is Laura from Mamie's Crochet and Farming. Double dog dared during, I think, Sam and Mike's live from Sam from Manfa's Makes. I think that's where poor Nova. Oh, wrong side. I'm kind of feeling there. That's better, right? I kind of feel like poor Nova opened her mouth and said something that she may have regretted saying afterwards, because Lala jumped on that and said, I need a pattern. I need that. We need to make that. And so Nova, as gracious as she is, and such a great gnome crocheter, said, okay, I can do that. And then she had to put that pattern out and offer it for sale and for release and to talk about. And she was a little bit nervous, I think, and very embarrassed, because her poor face was as red as a tomato. And I totally loved watching that video. Nova, you did a great job. And I watched that video, and immediately during the video, I am buying the pattern. And what am I talking about? I am talking about her pocket gnome, pee-pee gnome. And I'm only showing you half, because now this is an adult gnome for adult eyes only once you take the hat off. And there's a reason that it is called the pee-pee gnome. So if you have children that you do not want to see an adult version of a gnome, please stop the video, get them out of the room, and then come back, because you're going to want to see it yourself. So I'll give you a second to do that. Ready? Here we go. This is her pee-pee pocket peen gnome. So when you take the hat off and the face comes off with it, you have blue feet, and I'm not going to say more. So I thought that was hysterical, and I think we are going to have a pee-pee pocket peen gnome party in Zoom one day after Roy's surgery. But I couldn't wait. And I have several that I have to make, because there are many people that I know that I need to give these to. And so I practiced. So here's my first one. I used some fur, because I have a friend who has a husband that has a beard that looks like that. And so I have several friends that are going to be receiving some pocket gnomes, some PP gnomes. This one's, and I'm undecided um, on the names specifically, if they're going to be the names of the husbands, but I think not. I think this one is going to be called Peter, and I'm going to give it to my friend and say, "This is Peter." And after they all have their gnomes, I will tell them that they are special. Do not let your grandkids play with these gnomes because their hats are removable. And there you have it. So, his beard is a little. I had a real hard time with this fur yarn, and this is faux fur. This is what I have left. This was a scrap already. And Nova's uh, pattern does not call for um, that kind of yarn, but my friend's husband's beard really does look like that. Um, I mean, he can make it look really nice, but generally he's a little scruffy looking, and we love him. And he, during COVID, wore a beard that he refused to manscape at all. And so that's what his beard looked like during COVID. Once COVID was over, he shaved, just like all the other men that didn't shave during COVID. He still wears a beard, and now it's nice and neat, and he looks great. But he was a little bit scruffy during COVID, and when I was looking for scrap yarns out of my scraps, because I love to do amigurumis out of my scrap bin, I saw this scrap of this, and I'm like, oh my god, that looks like, and I don't want to say his name in case I don't want to like embarrass anybody, but that I'm like, that looks like my friend's husband's hair. So he gets the fur. But I have several girls from the campground who I play cards with on Saturdays, and they're all getting gnomes, and they're all going to have a new name, and it doesn't really matter which one gets named what, but they're all going to have some kind of name like Johnson or Peter or Dick or Harry, those kind of names, and they're getting them on our first all girls, when all the girls are there to play cards. And I'm so excited for that day to come, but I have several more to make. So um, I'll still have some to make during the Zoom party, um, party at the zoo. And this one is the only one I want to try to get like the favorite colors of the girls to make the hats out of, but maybe I don't know, blue balls and a pink hat might not go well together, so maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just be random. But I'm not using the black yarn anymore. Um, First of all, it's not really a 4-weight. I think it's more like a 3-weight, but this is the scrap black that I'm trying to get rid of. Uh, and so my scrap yarns are over here. This is the blue. I don't have any idea what it is. And then the big twist in the color cream is what I'm using for the bodies. And I will make more of the feet out of this, because I thought that was really fun. And I might make the next hat out of this, which is mainstays. So I'm going to just set that aside. Now, I will tell you that my daughter and my granddaughter, Amanda and Chloe, were here, and they were astounded. Chloe told all of her college friends about the pattern. I had shown my daughter, who took a picture of the pattern and sent it to Chloe and said, "Can you believe your grandmother's going to make this?" And Chloe's college friends all thought it was so hysterical that an old lady is making these. And I'm like, you girls just don't know. You just don't know. I don't know where kids get the idea that old people are fuddy-duddies. Um, because you're only as old as your soul. And my soul is about 22. Because that was a fun age to be. Let's see. So I don't have. I'm checking. I'm checking around. No, nothing else of any importance to show you. I am caught up now on my hashtag through Monday for texture because we went over all that. And so we'll start the next video for day 12, which will be whenever, I'm not sure. I'm not going to be held accountable to any particular day because Roy's surgery is the 12th, as I said. This is his second knee, so we kind of have a really good idea of what we're doing, or at least how it went the first time. The day after surgery was his worst day the last time, and by the second day after surgery, you'd have thought he was a whole new man. Yeah, he had a lot of pain still, but the second day was, the day after was horrible. I felt so bad for him. But he's going to know that see, they give you a nerve block shot during the surgery. It wears off 18 hours later. So you're now home and that sucker wears off and you don't know that you're going to be in this great deal of pain. Because the day of surgery, he thought, whoa, this isn't bad at all. He didn't realize that he was still on a pain blocker on top of all the other medications that he, painkillers they were giving him. So he'll be ready for it, and we'll be ready for it as far as, we were keeping him medicated anyway, but it won't be such a shock to his system that pain medication, that nerve block wears off and he feels all that pain. He's going to know that it's coming. And he'll be more prepared. I'll be more prepared because, oh God, that was so traumatic for me to see him in such pain. I felt so bad for him. And I thought, there's no way in hell I'm having that done. But it only lasted one day. So for one day, we can handle anything, right? So he'll be good after that. But he has to live upstairs and our kitchen is downstairs, so there's that. I will be up and down the stairs quite a few times myself, which is good for me, and I'll be spending a lot of time upstairs with him, so making another video will depend on his recovery time, so just be patient with us. I know you guys will keep him in your prayers, and I know that will be of great help. So when I am able, I will make another video, and I will catch up starting with day 12 of the month of crochet, National Crochet Month, thanks to Ola Joe. Well, National Crochet Month isn't thanks to Ola Joe, but the calendar that I'm following is. So you guys look for that hashtag, and I will have it in the title of this video, and it will be in the description box below. So look for that hashtag, and hashtag, watch all the other videos. See what everybody else's answers are to the daily challenge. And I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.